Il est aujourd'hui un grand acteur et un réalisateur qui compte à Hollywood. Après avoir commencé sa carrière en jouant dans les séries New York, Unité spéciale ou encore 6 Feet Under, c'est avec son rôle de Carlisle Cullen dans la saga Twilight que Peter Facinelli devient une figure mondiale. Il a même remporté un Teen Choice Awards pour être considéré comme une des personnalités de Twilight ayant les fans les plus fanatiques quand même. Acteur et réalisateur, le film qu'il a écrit dernièrement, The Vanished, s'est classé parmi les thrillers les plus populaires sur Netflix aux États-Unis. Je suis très heureux et très fier de partager avec vous une interview avec l'acteur hollywoodien Peter Facinelli. Hi, Peter Facinelli.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm wonderful.
Yes. Do you enjoy your trip in Paris?
Yes, very much. It's last time I was here was 10 years ago, so it's been too long. COVID and quarantine, you know, I wasn't able to travel as much, so I'm very excited to be able to travel abroad now and come to Paris. And I was very excited to come. I had fond memories being here from last time. And I just flew in this morning. So I flew in 7 a.m. I landed, and we started the convention at 10. So I just had time to shower and eat a little breakfast. But I'm okay because I slept on the plane.
Okay, so Peter, I propose you to begin this interview talking about being an actor in Hollywood.
Sure.
Because I really liked your Twitter biography saying, I pretend to be other people. In real life, that's considered a personality disorder. If you get paid to do it, it's called acting. So do you think, Peter, that to pretend to be someone else, even paid, you must have a personality disorder? And which personality disorders?
Well, you know, that's part of it. Partly I'm joking, but in part of it is true, I guess. Like, I often find when I'm playing roles, I have identity crisis when I'm finished with that role because you get so absorbed in that character's life, and then all of a sudden you're not playing that person anymore, and then you play yourself for a little while. And when I'm me, Peter Facinelli, you know, I'm many things to many people. I'm a father, a brother, a son. So I guess everyone's always playing a role for somebody. But when you're acting, then you slide into playing a completely different person under usually circumstances that are very dramatic, and then you slide back into your life again. And so, you know, when the times that you are back to your life, it's like I just finished a project last week, and you know, I'm shooting 12 hours a day, and you're screaming and yelling, and I'm in the middle of a fire that's, the movie's about my character's in a wildfire, and he's trying to survive this wildfire with his family. And then all of a sudden, you know, you're back home. So you're going 100 miles an hour, and then you're back home where there's no tension like that, you know, and your body has to adjust, and your mind keeps racing, but you have to adjust back to your life. And then you play your life for a little while, and then another movie comes along, and you know, so it is a lot of sliding into different personalities. And when you take a cruise, you go to all these wonderful places, but you never actually live there, right? You just visit, and you get to experience a little bit of what that is like, right? When you're an actor, it's very similar, where you might visit what it's like to play a doctor, a fireman, a lawyer, a vampire, but you'll never know exactly what it is like to be a doctor or a lawyer or a vampire. But you get to visit it, and then for a small amount of time, and then you go, you know, you're back on the ship of life, you know. So it's a job that you get to live many lives in one lifetime.
You're an actor and a director too. You've directed the movies The Vanished and Headhunter. So what do you prefer, Peter? Being an instrument as an actor, or maybe being the conductor as a director?
You know, I think there are different forms of storytelling. I feel directing now in my life is a little more rewarding. As an actor, you're playing a part, and you're one piece of a bigger wheel. But as a director, you're shaping the entire wheel, you know, and you're helping to collaborate with all the actors. and you're collaborating with the camera department. You're collaborating with you know, the costumer, the makeup team. So they're all there to kind of service you, to bring your vision of the story to the big screen. And so at this stage of my life, I find it a little more rewarding to be the conductor. Although I don't ever want to say I would give up acting because there's a part of me that's always going to be my first love is acting, you know. It's just when you're acting, you go to set and you say your lines and you do your scenes and then you sit in your trailer and there's a lot of waiting. And when you're directing, there's no waiting. You're constantly doing, thinking, moving, making decisions the entire 12 hours, you know. And it's a harder job in a lot of ways, but I find it rewarding to be able to collaborate with everyone.
If you had maybe to write a sequel as a director for the Twilight saga, what would be your framework, the storyline, and the stake?
I would focus on Renesmée. I'd probably pick up where the movie left off, but now she's older, and I'd like to see the story between her and Jacob, because Jacob can age, right? So you could still have a story now where Jacob's a little older, maybe Renesmee's older, like in her 20s, and maybe there's a love story there that you can connect with, and I'm sure that between you know, this vampire you know, baby and then Jacob, there's going to be a lot of threats from the outside vampires and world that we'd have to protect them. And so then you'd bring in Carlisle and all the Cullens to come to their aid and help, you know, as family should and would, protect them.
And which actors or actresses would you like to collaborate with?
I mean, all of them. I would love for them to come back. You know, if this is like a dream sequence, but it, you know, in a perfect world, they would all come back, and we would all kind of be able to reprise our roles, and I think that would be a lot of fun. You know.
And with which French actress would you like to collaborate? Do you know French actresses?
I don't know a lot of French actresses, but name a few.
Maybe Camille Cotin in the last House of Gucci movie.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
She's a very good French actress. Ashley Greene has talked about the pressure she suffers from producers on her weight. We used to talk about pressure on women in the industry, but is there any pressure on men too?
I mean, I never really felt pressured in that way. No, I mean, I don't know. I can't think of any. So I feel bad that anybody would ever be pressured about anything, their weight or how they look or anything, because you know, it's what makes people unique, you know. And weight also fluctuates. It goes up, it goes down, you know.
As a male actor in Hollywood, did you ever felt like you had maybe to be perfect, always smiling?
Oh God, you know, I never felt the need to be perfect. I mean, or to always be smiling. To me, I'm just always friendly to my fans because I appreciate them, you know. Without my fans, I wouldn't be here today. You know, they come to see the movies, and I feel honored that they, somebody said once, does it bother you when people ask you for your autograph? And I said, well, no, because it would bother me more when people stop asking me for my autograph. You know, at a certain point in time, when people, if they stop asking you for your autograph, then you know, then you're not doing your job right. So I appreciate it anytime a fan stops me and says they're appreciative of my work. That makes me feel filled with gratitude.
I've observed on your social media the importance of time's notion. On your Instagram biography, you write, "We have a finite amount of time on this planet, make every moment count."
Yeah.
And you posted on Twitter, if we have not enjoyed the last hour, we have wasted it. So do you think that being an actor is a way to escape the reality of time flying? And how?
I actually think it's not an escape when you're acting. I think watching films is an escape. But it's a beautiful escape because when you're watching films, it takes you on a journey, you know, an emotional journey, and it allows you to escape from your life for a brief moment and take you on a little trip, you know. And sometimes that trip can be very, very satisfying and rewarding, and also it could be informative, and it could also, you can learn things from it, but also sometimes it's just nice to have an outlet where you can sit back and forget about your life for a minute and watch it. As an actor, I feel like it's different because when you're acting, I find acting is, when it's done well, is a very, it forces you to be in the moment, because most of the time you're not in the moment. Like right now we're in the moment because we're having a conversation, we're very engaged, right? You're listening and I'm talking and you're fully in the moment. And most of the time people aren't in the moment, or I could say I'm not in the moment most of the time too, because you're thinking of something else, or maybe someplace you want to be, or where you just were. And so it's very hard to be in the moment. And when you have those times when you can be fully engaged and be in the moment, it's a beautiful thing because it's almost like a meditation, you know? And when you're acting, when you're doing scenes, everything else disappears and you're just focused in on each other, you know? It's a weird thing when you're acting, you're always looking in the person in the eyes, right? And when you're talking to people, usually people, next time you have a conversation, notice that most people don't look at you directly in the eyes. They're thinking about something, or they're talking about something, but once in a while they'll make eye contact, but they're talking and not. But when you're acting, you're always like right here with the other person, engaged. And to me, that's so beautiful because you're so present. And when it's done right, when the scene is over, it feels timeless. It feels like time, you know, when you're in a flow state, or you're in a moment where it's fully present, there is no feeling of time, you know. It just kind of
it's subjective.
Yeah, and so that's how it feels when you're acting.
And where do you find the time to be an actor, a great director, a father, a man?
Well, that's the juggle of life, right? And it's just finding the balance, because it's all balance. If you do one thing too much this way, then something else suffers. So you're always trying to find the balance of all of those things, you know.
And did you enjoy the time passing together for this interview and my community?
I did. It was very lovely.
Thank you so much, Peter Facinelli. It was a pleasure to meet you.
It was truly a pleasure. I really enjoyed talking to you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Si tout comme moi, vous avez vécu un moment inspirant en regardant cette interview en compagnie de Peter Facinelli, eh bien je vous invite à nous dire ce que vous en avez pensé dans la barre de commentaires. Elle est juste ici, en dessous. Et vous pouvez aller suivre Peter Facinelli sur ses réseaux sociaux. Son compte Instagram, c'est tout simplement Peter Facinelli. Et son compte Twitter, il est très actif dessus, c'est Peter Facinelli. Merci de nous avoir suivis. On se retrouve très prochainement avec une nouvelle personnalité et toujours des confidences en toute intimité et peut-être en anglais. À bientôt.